trapped on an island and forced to
Wait, I
play a
haven't
brutal
seen it
children's
up
game
yet. Don't
where all the
spoil.
losers
Nah,
get
nah,
executed.
nothing.
What would you do?
I only seen the
I'm going to
trailer. I only seen the trailer. I haven't seen it.
break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat every death game in Squid Game. This guy is the unluckiest man in the world. Guillaume here has just gambled the last of his life savings on a horse track and manages to win 4 million won. Collecting the money from the teller, he runs out to spend his new hard-earned cash and steps outside to call his family with the good news. He's on top of the world. But that's when he notices a gang of loan sharks approaching him and realizes his luck has just run out. Panicking, he runs back inside to escape them, but crashes into this woman and falls to the ground, now realizing that this pickpocket has just stolen all of his winnings. The loan sharks finally corner him in the restroom to collect his debt, but when he checks his pocket, he finds it slashed open and his money has disappeared. With nothing to collect, they force him to sign his contract with his own blood, promising to pay them back in 1 month. Depressed, the gambler sits on the subway bench to wait for the next train home, when this businessman comes over to talk to him. He asks if Yoon here wants to play a game, and the gambler thinks he's just an annoying salesman. But then he opens his
How
briefcase,
good this
leaving
show
stacks
was.
of cash
I,
and 2 whole.
Amen. Not gonna lie, Amen. I have not finished it. I know, bro. I know. I didn't finish it, bro. I got to the point where, like, the masked guy is at the mountain. Yo, yo. I appreciate you for the follow, gang. My notifications aren't working right now. My fault, bro. But thank you for the follow. I just follow to condemn you. Condemn me. Have you not finished it? Bro, I got to the point where it was like, where the masked guy was on the mountain and I fell asleep, bro. And I never got back on it. Sammy, you take the eye. Yeah, I fell asleep, bro, and I never got back on it.
Ordered paper squares. The salesman invites him to
Samuel. Oh, Samuel.
play the Korean game Dakji,
Samuel.
promising to give him 100,000
What's good, Samuel?
every
How
time
you
he
doing, bro?
wins. But he'll have to pay the salesman if he loses. It's a ridiculous gamble, but with everything to gain, Guillaume decides he's in. The man places a folded paper on the ground, and the gambler tries to flip it over, but he only manages to make the red tile jump. He's failed, but when the salesman takes his turn, he flips it over on the first try. Guillaume tells the man he doesn't have the money to pay him, but the salesman offers to reduce
Was
his
kinda
debt
lurking?
in
Oh,
return
for real?
one slap in the face.
What's up,
It's an
bro?
offer he can't refuse, and desperate to win,
How'd you find my stream, bro?
he takes the slap to continue playing. He keeps losing each round, getting smack after smack, until finally he throws down his tile and flips the salesman's paper over. Guillaume has just won 100 grand for playing a children's game, but it's not as innocent as it may seem. Okay, first of all, let me just say that this guy
You really
here
want to
needs
know?
be careful,
Sure.
because if any of these trains are going to
Yeah.
Busan, then he's going to instantly regret it. Now, as for Guillaume here, accepting
What?
this
Is it
game
bad?
a terrible idea. This man can't stop himself from gambling with money he doesn't even have, and against someone who walks around with a dakji in his suitcase and is clearly better at the game than him. Anyone with a brain wouldn't take that bet. But once Guillaume realizes that it's free money and only requires a slap in the face to keep playing, he doesn't stop to consider that this whole situation is suspicious as hell. Look at this guy's outfit here. This man is strictly on business, and since he approached him with such a specific agenda, it tells us he already knew that Guillaume is a degenerate gambler and is targeting him for some hidden reason. This salesman gave him every possible chance to make sure he's won some money from him, and nobody tries that hard to lose money unless what you're getting in return is much more valuable. Guillaume was too greedy to recognize any of these warning signs, and the man let his emotions get the better of him. Now, none of this guy's suspicious behavior matters if you had a proven strategy to play and win. Dakji is a game that Korean school kids play, and it's so popular that the game is even televised for mass entertainment. But it's not the strongest player who wins this game, it's the smartest and most coordinated. If you look at this player here, he manages to flip the paper in one try, and that's because he used the most surface area to make more contact with the other paper. If you can strike the target with the flat side of your Dakji paper, then the momentum will be transferred and carry the paper up on the bounce so that it flips over. This might seem counterintuitive, but it's just plain physics. And you can see this player was not successful because he was trying to use the edge.
So, would you believe if I searched you? You searched me? Bro, no. You know, you didn't, bro.
Which is not a
No, I'm not even popping like that, bro.
strategy. If Guillaume here had
You
known
have
the
to
best
find me
way to
off
play
of
this
like
game, he
YouTube
could
or
hustle
something
this
like
businessman
that,
for all
like
his cash and
Twitch,
walk
I
away
guess.
without having
No
to
way
get
you
slapped in the
search
bodies.
specifically
Now, even
me.
though he won,
You
this
famous,
one
famous.
victory is only the
No,
gambler
sir.
to playing 6 of the most terrifying death
No,
games
sir.
you
You
could
must be
possibly
thinking about
imagine. And
Opie
instead of a
or
slap
Boogie.
wrist, he'll soon be gambling with his life.
Not me.
But you don't have to.
Your bank is giving you a hard time. You
And the
feel
newspaper, yeah.
exploited. You
Local
this is
DMV
partially
streamer
right. You are tired
makes
of
it out the
financial
hood.
institutions hiding information from you.
Who are you? What business of yours is all that?
I am current. The future of mobile
Get
banking.
the hell out of my face.
This will be the biggest mistake of his life. Celebrating his
Streamer
newfound
kills
wealth,
10
he returns
kids.
back home to have dinner with his mother, but the woman knows the money came from gambling. She
Yo,
tells him that his ex-wife is planning to move to America,
Federal.
and he'll only be able to see his daughter if he has the
Say no.
finances to prove
Say
he
no.
can care
I'm
for
joking.
her.
I'm
Guillaume
joking
is
if
devastated,
anybody's watching
and
this.
realizing she's right, he decides to call the number on the business card, telling the salesman that he
Face
accepts his
ass.
offer to play another game. Later that night, he waits outside to be picked up when a van pulls up to the sidewalk. Getting inside, he begins to notice that all the other passengers are asleep.
Kids
But when the
probably
van starts to
deserve
fill
it.
with toxic gas, the gambler realizes he's just f***ed up big time and
Yeah.
gets knocked unconscious. When the man opens his eyes, he wakes
Yo,
up to find
Eamon
himself
is
lying in
loyal.
a bunk bed, surrounded by hundreds of others and cots just like him.
Eamon is a
They're
ride or
all wearing
die.
uniforms with numbers on them, and as everyone gathers in the center of the room, the front door opens, and a team of guards walk inside.
Not gonna lie, if I was in this, bro, I'm surviving. I'm surviving.
This man with a square
Unless, like, the game involves luck, some sort of luck, I'm surviving.
mask tells them they'll be playing in 6 different games, and those who make it through all 6 games will get a cash prize. This man demands to know why they were brought here, and the guard presses a button, playing a montage of several people being slapped.
Damn.
Everyone in this room is drowning in debt, and they've all been invited here to win enough money to pay it off. The players all line up to sign consent forms with 3 clauses, stating that they must keep on playing, that if they refuse
sacrifice
to play,
myself
they'll be
for
eliminated, and that the
you.
games can be ended if the majority of players agree to stop.
Good games is
Okay,
fire. I
there's
love
nothing more dangerous than a room
was
full of desperate people who have nothing.
ass based off the trailer. Bro, I only heard of this because of TikTok and it was just trending. It was just super popular on Twitter or whatever. And niggas was like gassing it.
Nothing to lose, and that's why the real threat are these players. Not
I never finished it though, Juice though. I never
just the
finished it.
games. From the video that was played, we can see the Dakji salesman use the same trick on everybody, and they've only invited players who are willing to gamble money they don't have on a game they're unlikely to win. It's textbook psychological manipulation, and it proves this wasn't a game for cash. This was a test that everyone in the room passed, and now they know
But I watched it a weekend with my
what we're willing to
ex.
say yes to, which should scare
One
the crap out of
weekend?
us. If we all agreed to play for more money, then we can be sure that the penalty for losing.
Bro, I'm terrible at finishing shows, bro. Like anime, TV shows. I don't even watch TV like that, bro. I'm terrible at finishing it.
Is going to
I
be
can
a lot
never.
worse than a few slaps. Now, if you pay close attention to the details of this place,
I probably never finished like a whole show. Actually, I don't think I can say. I don't know.
you'll realize that Guillaume here is about to have
Mr.
a
Streamer
really
said.
day, because this place looks
Yes.
like a death camp
Yes,
inside
Samuel.
IKEA and H&M. Even refugee camps don't stack their bunks 6 beds high, and everyone is given a uniform with a number instead of their name, so their identities have been stripped from them, and it's an immediate red flag that this is going to become a death game. If prison rules apply here, then there are 455 other people who might kill you to get ahead, and it won't matter what game we're playing. The best strategy
Make
right now
you
is
watch
to lay low, stay quiet, and
Lit.
observe our surroundings to gain more information to make sure we have a competitive advantage.
What
A key
number
thing
would
to
you
notice
have
here is
had?
that these
My favorite number is 3.
cards have different shapes.
But I think they got their their numbers randomly.
Their masks, but this could indicate different work roles. The circles could be workers, and the square mask could be a manager of some kind. Recognizing power is extremely important because it helps you behave accordingly, and pissing off the wrong person just might get you killed. Now, signing this contract is the cherry on top of the death game here, because after being drugged against your will and kidnapped, this whole enterprise is completely illegal, which means the contract can't be binding. This is designed to create the illusion of choice and keep you playing, even when things start getting really f***ed up. The fact that nobody here has realized this contract is meaningless tells us they aren't prepared for what's about to happen next. After being processed, they're all taken to their first game, entering an outdoor room with a massive clearing, and in front of them is a giant doll.
This shit I'm
at the
winning.
end of the field.
I don't know how niggas died in this. Y'all never played this as kids?
Look,
I'm winning
recognizes
this,
one
bro.
of the players as his childhood friend, Sang-woo, and walks up to say hello. Suddenly, the gates behind them lock shut, and the competitors are told they'll be playing the children's game, Red Light, Green Light. Players must run to the finish line while the doll looks away, but if it looks back and catches them moving, they will be eliminated.
That big ass
They have
doll.
only 5 minutes to cross the finish line, and with that, the game begins. The players start running across the field, but the doll suddenly announces red light before anyone expects it, and this player is caught completely off guard.
They didn't
It spots
explain
the
the
man still
rules
trying to catch
good.
his balance, and a voice announces that
How they
he's
explain
eliminated.
it?
Suddenly,
I
a
mean,
gunshot
it's
rings
kind of
out, and the
it's like self-explanatory. It's like Shark in the Water or whatever. That game. Didn't the one guy go to law school? I think so. The guy with the glasses. Like you'll die.
player collapses to the ground, motionless. He's just been shot dead. And realizes they've been tricked into playing a death game, everyone starts running for the exits. But the doll is detecting every movement, and bullets start flying. By the time the shooting stops, over 100 people have been murdered, and the surviving players are left frozen in fear. The doll turns its head back, announcing its green.
Imagine them running and you get like somebody runs into you, you start moving, and the doll shoots you. I'll be
The
sick.
group starts moving again, determined to make it out of here alive. Using this guy like a shield, this girl cleverly falls behind another player to hide herself from the doll's sight. It's the same girl who stole the gambler's money earlier when he was running from the loan sharks, and without
They
hesitation, she
thought
pulls the man
they
down
would
to
go
launch herself ahead of the
back
pack.
to the start
Gion
line.
here tries to move forward, but he's grabbed by an
Oh.
injured player who begs him for help. One wrong move, and he's going to get him shot. But luckily, the doll turns back around just in time, and he breaks out of the man's grip. There's now 1 minute left, and the players are
Oh
finally
God,
starting
she's
to reach
cute.
the finish line.
I remember like she had Twitter on a headlock, bro.
The man is only a few meters away from beating this game, but just as he takes a step forward, he trips over a dead body. He's about to fall on the ground, but another player saves his life, holding him up until the doll announces green light. With only 3 seconds on the timer, Gion jumps through the air and finally makes it across the finish line. The remaining players who haven't crossed are all brutally shot to death, and the survivors look up to notice a massive roof close overhead. They have no idea they're on a private island in the middle of nowhere, and the only way out of here is to win. That's 1 game down, with only 5 more to go. Okay, this is the most horrifying children's game I've ever seen, but 001 here is having the time of his life because he understands something that everyone else
My
is
favorite.
too
Your
scared
favorite
to
character,
realize.
that Baljeet looking guy?
This
Baljeet.
game isn't just about speed, it's about how much ground you can cover with enough stability.
Not gonna lie, that old man scene where they was playing the little ball game, that shit made me sad.
Freeze at any given moment.
Almost,
With this in mind,
almost shed a tear. Almost.
the best method here is to walk with feet flat on the ground and a wide stance so our center of
Almost.
gravity stays low and stable. This old man was born for this.
'Cause it
moment
reminded
because
me
he
of my
moved the
grandma,
devastating
bro.
gate, and it's the best example of how everyone here needs to walk if they want to make it out alive. Now, we can't afford to be frozen and shocked like Yeon here because there's a lot of ground for us to cover in a very short time. This room is designed to deceive you into thinking it's smaller than it is. But there's a trick we can use to gauge the distance so that we know how fast we need to walk to reach the finish line before the clock runs out. Taking advantage of parallax and anatomy,
Oh,
you can
hell.
actually use your thumb to figure out the length of the field. The space between your eyes is about 1/10 the length of your arm. So if you stuck your thumb out, closing one eye after another, your thumb would appear to move 1/10 the distance as the guards are from where you're standing. You can actually try this right now by sticking your thumb out in front of you and closing one eye,
Chat.
and then switching to the other eye to see your thumb move. If you do the math here, this trick tells us that we're at least 100 meters away. That means that this place is roughly the length of a soccer field. So if we want to make it across in 5 minutes,
Does it
we
end
can't
again
afford
at
to waste
I2?
even 1 second. One of the biggest mistakes you can make here is looking at the doll instead of watching where you're placing your feet. It's important to remember that we aren't responding to visual cues here. We're listening for red light, green light. We can't risk tripping or accidentally losing our footing. So watching our feet helps us shut out unnecessary information so we can concentrate on stability while keeping our ears out for the signals. The next thing I would do is try to protect myself. And there's nothing more safe in a death game than finding a good old-fashioned meat shield. If we position ourselves behind another person, then it makes it much harder for the robot to detect any movement if we happen to flinch
What
at a
the fuck is a
gunshot or
meter?
react to another player dying close by.
The
So
meat
walking behind
eater.
is the best insurance we have to hide it.
Meat
Now,
eater.
the most dangerous element of this scenario is actually the other players trapped in here with us. We have to realize that we are extremely vulnerable to anyone who wants to kamikaze their way out of here. If you get pushed over, then they're taking you out with them.
On
and It only
God.
takes one tiny movement to get you killed.
On
So
God.
you need to stay far enough away from people that they can't interfere with their progress. The best way to do this is to position yourself along this wall. Natural human instinct is to seek comfort in crisis, and they might be drawn to the shade here. So to avoid the other players, I would use the sunny side of the wall instead. This also gives us another point of stability to help us stop in time, and we can make it to the finish line without getting killed. After the
I'm
game,
not dying,
the
bro.
guards come in
I'm gonna
and
be real, I'm
congratulate
too
the
smart for
survivors
this.
on passing and announce that 255 players were killed.
I'm
It's
too,
a horrible,
I'm too, what's the word, chat?
fine number, and afraid for her life, this woman steps forward begging the man to let her go home. Several other players join her in protest, but that's when this massive piggy bank drops down above them and starts to fill with more cash than they've ever seen in their lives. The survivors are shocked, and the masked man tells everyone that they have an opportunity to win 45.6 billion won, but if anyone leaves, then they won't get a single penny. With that, a voting machine is set up in front of them, and they all cast their votes, but the majority of players agree to quit. The masked man tells them they can still come back if a majority agrees to compete again, and the players are sent back home. Now it turns out that every single one of them realizes their lives outside are
I'll run
much
into
worse than
you
they
and
remember.
get you
And Guillaume
out.
here
Nigga,
returns
you
to
gonna
the
be
game,
out with
and They're
me.
all going to instantly regret it.
Bro, imagine BEC Squid Games, bro. Everybody's dying. I'm not gonna lie, everybody's dying.
Because this next death game is even more screwed up
BEC Squid
than
Games
last.
with me in the
The
chat,
players take
it's
them to a
over.
private
First of
island.
all, it's gonna be over for me because that's exactly what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna try to fuck me up. So I might be one of the first ones to die.
Island, where a team of workers dress them into their uniforms, and the players finally wake up back in the same place as if they never left.
And nobody's
Later
surviving.
that
I'm gonna
night,
be real.
Guillaume
None
tries
of us
to
are
tell
smart.
Fred and suggests they team up with the next game to increase their
None
odds
of us-
Though
none of
Fred
us-
agrees it's wise to join forces.
none of us are
Despite
making
the
it.
player who rescued him last game, the gambler
You should
insists
stop
this man join him
watching.
too. That
When you get to where you stopped in the show, I will watch the dub version of this. I watched the dub version too. I can't watch sub. Yeah, I'll stop it.
the old man asks if he can also be a part of their team.
I'll stop
Guillaume
it.
happily accepts him into the group, but his friend is not happy he invited someone so old to join their team. The next morning, all the players are led into a new arena.
What about this
As they
one?
pour in, they find an oversized
What about
building
this one,
in
chat?
front of them. A voice instructs them to line up in front of one of the four shapes on the walls, and their choices
Not
are
gonna
circle,
lie, I seen how the person did it.
circle, triangle,
I
star,
watched dub.
and umbrella. That's when Sang-woo
Dub
here
way
has a
better.
flashback to his childhood.
I'm not reading. I don't. When I'm watching anime, bro, I don't want to watch. I don't want to read this shit, bro. Anime goes too fast for me to read any of that shit.
And suddenly realizes what this
Pick
game
the
is,
circle.
but the man
Oh
doesn't
God,
tell
I seen how the person. You gotta lick that shit. You gotta lick it.
anyone
and
what he's
then-
just discovered.
and then cut
asks
it.
him if they should all choose the same shape, but he rejects the idea, suggesting they should split up to reduce the risk. Finally, the doors open as the announcer instructs them to take a case from the tables, and the players find a thin piece of hard sponge toffee with a shape in the middle. They'll have to use the
Yo,
needle to poke
Sammy,
the
you
shape
be
into
watching
the
anime,
case,
bro?
and if they crack it, they'll be executed.
Are you like a TV show type of
Guillaume
guy?
starts breaking off pieces of the candy, but another player immediately cracks his honeycomb
Damn.
in half. Without hesitation, the guard pulls out his pistol and shoots
Bah!
the man dead, making him the first casualty of this game. It starts a chain reaction as more people are executed without mercy. Guillaume is sweating from the pressure. The umbrella is the hardest shape to cut, but suddenly the man has a revelation. Seeing the beads of sweat falling onto the candy, he realizes he might be able to melt it with his saliva from the bottom because the outline of the shape is thinner than the rest of the honeycomb. He starts to lick the toffee while other players begin to follow his lead. And with 12 seconds left on the clock, Guillaume desperately
Hentai.
breaks apart his honeycomb, perfectly removing the umbrella from the mold. Despite all odds, he's won again.
Technically-
That's 2 games, with 4 more to go. Okay,
Technically,
this might
he's
seem
not
easy,
wrong.
but if you pick the wrong shape in this game, you have an extremely low chance of surviving. For those of you who are unfamiliar, this candy is known as taekwondo, and removing the shape without cracking it is
I
a
heard
common
somebody try to make this, and like they burned themselves.
that Korean vendors play with kids, which is why the players recognized it as soon as they opened their tin cans. It's made out of melted sugar and baking soda, creating a unique structure inside, which makes it hard to predict how it might crack. In fracture mechanics, this is known as strain energy, and when it releases, other microcracks start to spread, making it crumble more easily. That is exactly what makes this game so challenging, because as careful as you are, it just might make your candy crack on you without warning, and you'll be shot in the face.
Damn.
The more sharp angles there are in the shape, the more you are likely to break it, and that's why Gyun here is completely screwed, because he chose an umbrella which has the most angles by far. This teammate here told everyone to split up to spread out the risk. But if you think about it, his suggestion is total bullshit. Spreading out just makes it harder for the group to work together. They won't be facing the same problems. For this reason, I would have suggested that we all select the same shape so that whatever solutions we can find, we can all benefit from them. It's clear that this guy is intentionally trying to get the other players killed in order to increase the prize pool for himself. And that's cold-blooded as hell. Now, there's still a way to increase your chances of choosing the right shape without knowing what the game is. Look at how these first two players rush in to select a shape before anyone else. Both of them chose triangle, and when nobody's supposed to know what the game is yet, it probably means they recognize the game from their childhood. Now, this doesn't guarantee that triangle is the best choice, but given they are so sure of themselves when the stakes are life and death, it's not unreasonable to assume that someone this confident has probably figured something out. If the players were unsure of their decision, they would take more time to think about it, and if you have no idea what the game is, following their lead
What
is
wasn't
the best
intentional?
option. Now, if it just so happens that we get stuck with the worst shape possible, there's still hope here, because the rules never stated that you could only use the needle, and that opens up a lot more possibilities to win. Using your saliva is a smart move because getting it wet makes the candy softer and you'll be able to cut the shape out without cracking it. This might seem obvious, but under a crazy amount of stress like this, it's hard to see other solutions if you're already told how you're supposed to solve them. And most of the players here were so fixated on using the needle.
What if you break that shit trying to pick it up? I think he just didn't want all of them to make a bad choice. Yeah.
The candle problem, which was a famous psychological...
But you know, this guy slimed out his own mans. Later in the show, well, shit. Sorry for any spoilers if you haven't watched it, but this guy slimed out this guy. He slimed out his own mans just to survive. I mean, yeah, they a team, but like they were going against each other.
Same shape, so that whatever solution.
So I don't know. Maybe he was knowing the entire time. You never know.
For them and win.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because they were like against each other. Somebody had to go.
It's clear that this guy is intentionally trying to get the other players killed in order to increase the prize pool for himself, and that's cold-blooded as hell. Now, there's still a way to increase your chances of choosing the right shape without knowing what the game is. Look at how these first two players rush in to select a shape before anyone else.
Except for the old man.
Triangle. And when nobody's supposed to know what the game is yet, it probably means they recognize the game from their childhood. Now, this doesn't guarantee that triangle is the best choice, but given they are so sure of themselves when the stakes are life and death, it's not unreasonable to assume that someone this confident has probably figured something out. If the players were unsure of their decision, they would take more time to think about it, and if you have no idea what the game is, following their lead is going to be your best option. Now, if it just so happens that we get stuck with the worst shape possible, there's still hope here, because the rules never stated that you could only use the needle, and that opens up a lot more possibilities to win. Using your saliva is a smart move because getting it wet makes the candy softer and you'll be able to cut the shape out without cracking it. This might seem obvious, but under a crazy amount of stress like this, it's hard to see other solutions if you're already told how you're
they
supposed
just
to
like
solve
triangles.
And most of the players here were so fixated.
Yeah, they're a big fan of
they didn't start to think outside of the box. This is actually very similar.
Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna freaking cap. Yo, what's good, Mark? What's poppin', bro? When I first seen the show, I picked Star. I said to myself, like, if I'm in this situation, I'm picking Star. Faded, then in Yandi Land, he is fried.
Psychological test in the 1950s. The subjects were given a
What's
table,
good, Mark?
a box of thumbtacks, some matches, and a candle. They were then instructed to stick the candle to the wall without letting any wax drip onto the table, but they have to come up with a solution as fast as he possibly can. What's interesting is that most of the participants didn't consider that the box itself could be used to solve the problem until their time ran out. And it had everything to do with time pressure and how the items were presented. We can learn from this by considering all the tools we have to work with, but none of these players realized they might be able to use the tin can here to solve their problem. Instead of licking the candy to death, they could have used the can to collect their liquids and soak the bottom of the candy way faster. All the players go back to the main room where the results of the second game are
I'm
announced.
fucking around and I'm
19
coming in that
with
bitch.
108 left standing, and that's now 34.8.
How's the stream, Brody? The stream is good.
Later, the players will gather for
Stream
lunch.
chilling.
But when the last
It's
of them
been
walk
chill.
into
It's
the
been chill.
room,
We're watching a movie later tonight.
they're shocked to find there's nothing left. Angry, the man yells at the guard for being unfair.
Let
but
me
suddenly
look
this girl
in your
stands up and points
eyes.
across the room, telling everyone that these players here cut the line to take seconds. The man walks up to the gangster and tries to pull the water out of his hand, but he's overpowered and the bottle shatters on the floor. Furious, this guy slaps him to the ground and starts beating him to death as the guards do nothing to stop him. All of a sudden, the scoreboard announces another player has died, and the total cash prize goes up by 100 million won.
Wow.
A couple of guards walk in to take the body away. while everyone-
Wait, 100 million per death? What? That's a lot of money, bro. Corey gonna turn into a frosted cookie. Yo. Oh yeah, yen. Yen, my fault. How much is 100 million in yen? Hunting. What the fuck? What the fuck am I looking at? What the fuck number is this, chat? What number is this? It's whatever Korean is this. Oh. Korean dollars. Korean won. My fault. Still, what number is this? 6,094.33.35. 69,000? That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
In war, realizing that this
I was about to
he's
say.
got a lot
I was
of
about to say
options.
though.
Later, Sang-woo here tells his team to stay awake tonight in case they're attacked. The other
Nigga,
groups are preparing for
what?
a fight, but Gi-yeon
100
notices
million
this
per
girl
death,
across the room
what?
and recognizes her as the pickpocket who stole his money. The man approaches and invites her to join the team, but she rejects his offer, insisting no one here can be trusted. That night, they all get into their beds and nervously wait for the guards to leave the room. Once the lights are turned off, several people slowly begin to leave their cots, searching for an easy kill. Suddenly, this player panics as the thug grabs her and stabs the woman to death.
Damn.
This one murder causes a chain reaction.
Okay, this situation, Chad. What y'all doing in this situation? Me, I'm probably dying. I'm not gonna lie. In love with her? Who? Oh, that pickpocket chick? Pissing myself. I'm dying. I'm probably dying in this situation.
All the other players.
If it's BEC, then I'll probably be good. Actually, no, y'all. Actually, BEC Squid Games. How would I do? No one trying to. Oh, it's a strategy. I don't know. I'm probably dying.
Begin killing each other for cash. Gi-yeon and his team try to defend themselves, but that's when they hear the old man begging everyone to stop fighting. And when the lights turn back on, the guards run into the room, putting a stop to the madness. Okay, this.
So why do the guards stop it then? Why do the guards stop like the killings? No one trying to.
This might be scarier than the actual game so far. There are no rules or restrictions here, and when you're literally worth more dead than alive, everyone in this room has a motive to kill you. Now, with that said, this is actually the best thing that could possibly happen. There were a total of 27 players who died in the chaos, and while those are better odds than any of the death games so far, this wipes out a lot of the competition that we would otherwise be facing in the next challenges. All we have to do is survive the night, and the other players can kill each other off for our direct benefit. The best strategy here is to run to the corner of the room and defend your position with a group of friends. This might seem counterintuitive.
Chat, who's gonna be in my corner, chat?
Really dark and you
How many of
can't
y'all
see
gonna be in my
who's coming.
corner?
Being cornered in like this
Who wants to
leaves you
come to my
in
corner,
a
bro?
vulnerability.
Who's gonna protect
That's
me?
much better than being in the middle of the room where you would have a full 360 degrees to be attacked from. If you don't have a group, then we should be hiding under one of the bunk beds. The killers won't be able to look for anyone in hiding because it's too dark to see. So this just might be the only time I'll ever tell you that hiding under the bed is a good idea. And hey, I don't mind being called a coward if we end up outliving everyone else as a result. The next morning, all the players wake up, but Gion here notices how tired the old man is and finds out he stayed up all night watching over the team in case someone attacked them. He's exhausted, but there's no more.
What were you gonna do, old man, if somebody was gonna attack you? What was this old man gonna do? I'm in your corner. Yeah, I'm killing the both of y'all easy. Corey, you didn't laugh at my joke. I'm gonna get you. My fault. My fault. Corey.
Because the third game is about to begin. The
My
players are
fault.
led into a white room where they're told to divide themselves.
Yeah, I'm dying, bro.
Sang-woo here
I'm dying.
realizes that a team game could mean it's a physical challenge, and thinks they should find stronger men to join them. The group splits up to search for more players, but with time running out, they only manage to bring in the outcasts, realizing that 3 skinny women and an old man could put them at a severe disadvantage. The groups are
Ooh, this was the tug of war. Okay. BEC is full of some weak ass skinny teenagers and little niggas. So we are dying. We're dying. We're dying. We're full of little niggas and just skinny men. We have a couple females, but they're skinny as well. I'm probably the strongest here. Pick a good team. I'll carry, don't worry. None of y'all... I can't think of one person that's going to be good in this situation. We're all dying. If we didn't die from the lights being out, we're dying here, bro. Oh, man. How the heck... Bro. They had a strategy, though. They had a strategy on how to pull it, though. So we can use that, bro. We're good if we're facing like little niggas like Ant, Trap, Icy. Like if we go against like little niggas, I think we're good.
get into another room where they see 2 massive platforms, and they're told that today's game is tug of war. They'll need to pull on the rope until the other team falls off the platform to their deaths, and the guards draw lots to decide who will go first. When it's finally their turn, Gion and his team stand up to see who they'll be facing, but find that their opponents are all stronger than them. They're completely outmatched, and know they won't be able to beat them with brute force. But as they ride the elevator up to the platform, the old man tells them he knows exactly how to win. Gion takes a position at the front to act as a leader. The strongest player
Pull with your pelvis.
The group stands on alternating sides with their feet pointed
Pull
forward,
with your
and as soon as
pelvis.
the game begins, they all lean back as far as they can, using their whole body to pull on
Just
the rope.
bring a
With
gun,
this technique,
easy.
they're able
I don't
to get the
think-
advantage within the first 10
I don't
seconds
think-
and tug
I
the
don't
other
think
team
that
closer to the
helps
edge. But it doesn't last for long.
Samuel.
Their opponents gain their second wind, and the group loses their footing as they're dragged closer to the edge of the platform. But that's when Sung-woo here has a brilliant idea. He yells at everyone to take 3 steps forward at his signal, and with no other plan, they do as he says. The group steps forward, knocking the other team off balance, and it sends them tumbling to the ground. Now with the advantage-
I don't know if that's gonna work in real life though. To be honest, I don't know if that's can't bring a gun when they kidnap you. On God. I don't know if that's working in real life.
Hyun's
That's
team
not
all
working.
kill the
That's not working in real life. That's.
pull the others off of the platform, and as the blade cuts through the rope, the players collapse, just happy to be alive. That's now 3 games they've won, and there's only 3 more to go. Okay, for anyone who's picked last in gym class, this one has got
All of us.
to bring back some
It's like
painful memories, because it's immediately clear that the biggest and strongest players are going to dominate in this game. If you're weak or old,
it might though, like, cause you're pulling. Yeah. It It works, yeah. But like they're already pulling and you if it can work, bro. It can work. But if it goes wrong, it can go horribly wrong. Focus. Can my camera focus? Can my camera focus?
A few moments later.
Can my camera focus? Big Blur Curry. BBC. Okay, this can work, but only in like certain situations. I feel like the momentum, if you're going forward, 3 steps forward, if one of your teammates fucked up and they accidentally go too forward, it could send y'all forward too much and can like push the person in front of you type shit. And then, you know what I'm saying, be like a domino effect. But and also like the force of like the other guys pull it. Yeah, the force drops when they drop. It could work. It could work. It could work though. I'm gonna run right off the edge, Tarzan over, then fist fight him. I probably got the weakest chat, not gonna lie. Y'all not physical. Y'all is smart, but y'all not here like me. Y'all not here. This is a you know what I'm saying, type of game. Y'all not nah Mark, you don't, you know what I'm saying? You're here, Mark. Mark, you're here. You're not here. You're not here either. You're more here.
Like these guys, you're at serious risk of getting your whole team killed. Now, I'm not going to say that they won just because they had plot armor, but if I were them, I'd be looking for
Corey only has a big ass head.
every possible way to cheat. Because of the players we have, it's going to be our best chance at surviving. Now,
I'm
the
surviving.
truth is, this isn't just a children's game. Tug of war used to be in the Olympics from the years 1900
For
to
real?
1920. And to this day, the International Olympics Committee still recognizes it as an official sport. If this seems like trivial information, I assure you it's not. Because unlike silly children's games, an official sport has tons of rules, with governing bodies to make sure that the game is being played fairly. The reason this is important is because these rules are created to prevent
I did
you
not
from
know
gaining
that.
an unfair competitive advantage. Now, if that doesn't put a smile on your face, then you're not paying attention. Because in a death game like this, unfair competitive advantages are everything we could possibly want to stay alive. In a death game, official sport rules are basically a gift-wrapped instruction manual
Damn.
on how to cheat and win. Because the workers are not going to be holding a training camp on proper tug-of-war techniques, and there's no referee on this platform. If we know what the official rules are, then it's reasonable to assume that we can break them without getting punished.
Put it in
The
the
first rule
Mr.
I would break
NBA.
is called locking. This is
Says
usually
so.
done by
Bro.
placing your elbow behind your thigh, and it locks up any back and forth movement in the rope.
So how do you get into the Olympics by this sport? Is there like a league for tug of war?
Normally in tug of war, your hands are the only point of contact with the rope, and it means that your arms are doing a lot of work. But locking helps you easily use your entire body's weight to pull with, and this rule break makes it much harder for the other team to win. Another form of cheating is for the player in the back to use what's called an anchor grip, where they wrap the end of the rope around their torso. This allows the last player to concentrate on using his full body to pull without even needing to place his hands on the rope. There are tons of tug-of-war rules that we can break that will give us an unfair advantage, and it's the best way for a team like this to win, no matter what. Now,
But they got handcuffs on. How would that work?
if we're about to lose, we're going to need a Hail Mary tactic. And the best thing we can do is to have the whole team shift to one side while the player in the back ties the rope to this metal bar here. This doesn't violate any of the rules stated by the square mask, and if we keep pretending to pull while letting our arms recover, the other team will have no idea we're cheating and they'll blow their muscles out. These anchors can also be used as footholds instead of relying on the friction of the floor to push off of. The next morning,
That's
the
a bad
players are
floor,
brought to
too.
another room where they're given instructions for the next
That
game.
floor is
They will
slippery.
need to pair up with one other person.
Not
as they have
slippery,
10
but
minutes
it's
to
just-
find a partner. The players immediately start looking for anyone that'll help them win.
If you know, you
And
know.
Here notices
That's a
that they're
bad
all
floor
ignoring
to
the old
take,
man.
you know what I'm saying?
Approaching him, he reaches out a
Have
hand,
traction
offering to
on.
be his partner, and the two join up. By the end, the only person who doesn't have a partner is this woman, and with an odd number of players, everyone else leaves for the game, while she's dragged away by the guards. Inside the arena, the players are led through a room that looks like an old Korean neighborhood, and are each given a pouch filled with 10 marbles. The old man tells his partner that he was good at playing with them as a kid, but makes him promise to be ganbu, best friends, if he wants a chance to survive this
You'll
game.
get shot
Suddenly,
if you
an
touch the
announcement tells
yellow,
the players
no
they must use the
doubt.
marbles
For
to play
real?
a game of their choice and take all 10 of them from their partner in order to win. Sang-woo here decides to play a game of odds or evens, and his partner has never played before. But after only a few rounds, Ali here manages to get the better of him, winning all but one of his marbles. The man is devastated, and he begs his partner to help him survive, asking for one last chance to play against the other teams to take their marbles instead. His partner decides to trust him, and that's when Sang-woo asks for the man's pouch. Placing it under his jacket, he secretly switches it out with his own before stripping his shirt to create a sling. Hanging his pouch around the man's neck, he tells him to go searching for others to play against, and the man leaves. With his partner gone, he puts his last marble in the full pouch he stole and hands it over to the guard, becoming the winner. It's a filthy trick to play. But
So in this BEC, okay, y'all niggas not smart. So with some of y'all, I can outsmart y'all, bully y'all, and just take y'all marbles, for real, for real. That's when I guess tying the rope down. Maybe. I mean, they didn't care about killing, so why would they care about, like, I don't know. I don't know, they're weird. But, yeah. I'm bullying y'all and taking y'all marbles.
he did what he
No
wanted
games.
to.
No games being played. I'm Shang-wooing y'all.
Al-Gion plays against the old man, cheating in each round until he's down to one less marble. Realizing he's about to lose, he decides to surrender to his best friend, and Gion breaks down in tears. With all 10 marbles, he walks away the winner as the old man gets killed, and with 4 games down, there's only 2 more to go. Okay, this death game has a lot more possibilities than any of the other challenges, because for the first time, we get to choose how we want to play. Now, the danger here is that there's only 30 minutes on the clock, and if your partner refuses to continue, you'll run out of time before you've won all their marbles, which will get you killed. Playing a single all-or-nothing round will solve this problem, but it's a risky strategy, because if you lose, there's no way to win your marbles back. Now, these guys here are playing the game odd or even, where your opponent guesses if the number of marbles in your hand is odd or even, and if they guess right, they get to take them. Winning this game is based on pure chance, and for someone as smart as Sang-woo here, he should have realized that this game would give him no way to use strategy to gain an advantage. Instead of games of blind luck like this, we should be looking for something that your
You'll
opponent
take my
thinks they can win,
marbles, and
but
I'll
that you know you
take
can
a
win. And for that,
piece
there's
of
nothing better than an
yourself
ancient
when-
Chinese game called Nim. This
when you
game has
have
been around
killed
for
me.
centuries, but what makes it special is that there's actually a proven strategy to guarantee a victory. If you're not familiar with the game, this is how to play.
What the hell?
First, we combine our 20 marbles together into a shared pile, and take turns removing either 1 or 2 marbles at a time. Whoever removes the last marble gets to keep all of them and wins the game. It's so simple that you'd think there couldn't possibly be a strategy here. But the key to this game is to always go first, and remove exactly 2 marbles. Then, whatever they remove, you remove the opposite. For example, if they remove 2 marbles, then you remove 1. And if they remove 1 marble, then you remove 2.
Okay.
If we keep this going, then you're guaranteed to remove the last marble and you'll never lose. Most people don't know this mathematical trick exists, and that's why it's the perfect game to choose in this situation. Because when our victory depends on another player's cooperation, we can use Nim to trick anyone into agreeing to play, and they won't realize they've lost until it's too late. Now, it might be that there's just not enough time to waste in playing a full game of Nim, because the longer it takes your opponent to make decisions, the more he puts you at risk of getting executed. If that's the case, then we should follow this guy's dirty tactics and steal our partner's marbles. To do this, we should ask for their pouch in order to set up the game. But once they've handed them over, just go straight to the guard and declare you've met the win conditions. The other player will probably attack you in protest, but violence is not allowed in this game, and your opponent will be threatened at gunpoint if he does. Once you have his marbles, there's nothing to stop you from winning, and in a game like this, we have to consider every tactic at our disposal if we want to stay alive.
It is what it
The
is.
players return to the main room, and they're all surprised to see that this woman is still alive. She explains that since she had no one to pair with, the game let her skip the challenge. After everything they've been through, the others are furious. The next morning, all the players wake up to a group of guards coming in.
So that's where I come in. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no friends like that, so I'm definitely getting picked last.
And Guillaume here
I'm
realized
surviving.
that
I'm
one
surviving.
of the fellow
I'm
players
surviving.
decided to quit during the night. Looking up, they watch as the man's life turns into cold hard cash. And that's when the PA announces that the 5th game is about to begin. The group is taken to a room with a row of mannequins wearing numbered vests, and they're told
I'ma
to
kill
choose one
Josh.
for their next challenge. Rushing in, everyone gets their pick, but when Guillaume finally steps up to choose, the only vests left for him are numbers 1 and 16. He considers taking number 1, even though that means he'll go first, but this player asks to have that number instead, and he agrees to let him take it. Finally, they're brought into the game room, and the announcer tells them they will be playing glass stepping stones. They must remove their shoes and walk over tempered glass to make it across the bridge. But if they step on a panel made from regular glass, they'll fall to their death. With 60 minutes on the clock, the first player takes off his shoes and approaches.
This one's another hard
Nervous,
one.
He jumps to the first.
This one
pile
is
and takes it,
another
and when he
very
moves on
hard
to the
one.
second, the man falls
But
straight through
the guy later on, he's like a glass. He's like a glass. He works with glass, so he could tell which one's the panel and which one's the regular glass.
Horrified, the other players have no choice but to continue.
At a like something like this, I would usually be. It's like in one of those Fall Guy games, like where the joint breaks. You just have to be close enough, not close enough to where you'll be in the position to have to like go first, but like close enough to where they're leading you type shit.
Continue, and more people start
Glass
crossing
wizard.
the glass
Oh, God.
bridge. One by one, they plummet to the ground as they slowly reveal a path of stable panels for the others to follow. With the first 8 players dead, it's now the gangster's turn to lead the group. But he refuses.
You just need
to move
enough
on,
people.
telling
You
the
just need to let the bots go first. Go last, third. Yeah, around there, I guess. You just have to let the bots go first, bro. Let everybody die first, and then you just catch on.
for him if they want to pass. Everyone behind
But there be dickheads like this that don't want to go, and time is getting wasted.
him starts to panic. They
So
still have
so being last is also kind of bad because like you could run out of time. But if, you know what I'm saying, if time's not a factor, then you
5
straight.
panels left and are quickly running out of time. Suddenly, the gangster comes face to face with this woman and she mocks him for being a coward. Jumping onto his platform, she locks her arms around him, threatening to pull him off the ledge if he doesn't continue. But before the gangster knows it, they break through the glass panel as they both fall to their deaths. With only a handful of survivors and less than 3 minutes left, this man crouches down to inspect the panel in front of him. Sangu begs him to keep on moving, but he reveals that he was a glassmaker for 30 years and can tell which panels are tempered from the reflection.
Was any of y'all a glass maker for 30 years? Can any of y'all like the gangster? Yeah. Can any of y'all tell?
The man jumps forwards onto a stable panel, and they realize his theory is working. But that's when the game decides to make things more challenging, and turns off the lights so they can't tell the difference. Panicking, Sangu here realizes they won't be able to see the reflections anymore. But the
Sangu
glass
pushes
maker has
him.
one last trick up his
Sanwoo!
asks for something to throw at the panels, explaining that tempered and regular glass make different sounds. Hyun here passes over the marble he still has, and the glassmaker tosses it in front of him. But with less than 25 seconds remaining, Sang-woo decides to take matters into his own hands. He pushes the man forward,
Damn.
shattering the glass into pieces, and with the path clear,
Why'd
they all
he-
make it to the other side.
Why he wait till 12 people? Oh God. Yeah, but maybe it was a strategy. Maybe some people had to die. Maybe some people had to die. In order, you know what I'm saying, less competition.
When the timer hits 0, the remaining glass panels suddenly explode and the shards go flying through the air, injuring the 3 survivors. That's now 5 games down and 1 more to go. Okay, this glassmaker was a total badass. He could have
Facts.
saved all 16
For
players
real.
if he shared his knowledge in the beginning, but he knew that keeping his mouth shut would eliminate his competition. It was a baller move. The only mistake he made was not waiting longer, because once he revealed his strategy, the game removed his advantage, and all it took was one greedy man to kill him off.
Damn.
Now, having said that, this game is different from the previous challenges, because it's not a
Is
test
this
of
where you
skill
step?
and strength.
Is where? Nah. Actually, I stopped watching when they was having the dinner and the guy was getting chased. So I never watched what the dinner game was.
When you have no information to base your decision on, choosing the right path here makes this a game of random chance. If you look here, you'll see that there are 18 pairs of panels. So this first
Yeah,
player
it
has
is
a
right
1 in
after this.
262,144 chance of making it across this bridge. This is basically a death game lottery with odds that I wouldn't play under any circumstances unless I found a way to cheat. By the law of averages, it's fair to assume that each player will probably step on 2 panels before dying, with 1 correct guess and 1 wrong one. That means on average, 9 players will need to die in order to cross all 18 of them. If the majority of the players are going to die, then it might be the perfect time to convince them to vote on leaving the competition. This death game is like telling someone that if they don't win the lottery, they'll get murdered. And when you put it like that, it's kind of ridiculous that the first players even attempted to play. Now, when we actually choose to play the odds, we're going to have to cheat if we want any chance of making it to the next round. I'm not an expert glassmaker like this guy here, but all I need to know is that if you throw something through a window, it's going to break. That's exactly why I would have collected these shoes here, take my jacket off, and tie a knot at the end of the sleeve. Then, place a bunch of shoes inside so that we can swing it in front of us to test if the glass will break or not. If it cracks, then
Those okay, another thing. This is wide. He's standing right here, and what if this one is the breakable one? This one breaks. How is he supposed to jump over here? This is a big gap for a person to jump. This is a pretty big gap. Yeah, you could make the point where he could like balance on this a little bit and then jump, but that's hard, bro. That's hard. I just want to point that out.
Then, place a bunch of shoes inside so that we can swing it in front of us.
That's a big ass
test if the
gap,
glass
bro.
will break or not. If it cracks, then I jump to the opposite panel and continue until I reach the end. If for some reason this method fails, we can also try walking on the metal
Yeah,
doors
I guess.
instead of the glass. Now this might be considered unacceptable to the game designers, but if someone doesn't try it, we'll never know if it's allowed or not. The only win condition for this challenge is to make it across the bridge, and we've already seen other games where the players are able to manipulate the rules to their advantage. If you remember in the last game, Sangu here tricked his teammate into giving him the marbles instead of playing for them. And when things get desperate, these are the kinds of tactics that we using. If we don't test the boundaries of what's allowed in each and every game, then we might be missing out on some of the best strategies that will keep us alive for longer, and it's a terrible waste of an opportunity. Later, the players are rewarded for
Alright. 8 days until Cardi. Yo, what's good, Gil? What's poppin'? This is where I stopped. Overall, I haven't finished it. Should we finish it? Should I get spoiled or not? Overall, I think I'm surviving, bro. Maybe. I think. Probably not.